I went back for all these people. Did you listen to it its entirety? Context. Everybody always, when you're in trouble, people always want to say context. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, context. Yeah, the more I listened to and the more context I got, the worse it sounded. Welcome to the Not Offended Podcast. It's your boy Anthony here, the conservative Chicano. We got my boy Bill. We got the token. We got the bishop, Mike and Dean in the house. Man, dude, we got a good one for you today. Thank you for tuning in. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe button, leave a comment. The whole goal is one day Jake might get paid. So go ahead and help us out there, because we're going to have sponsors here real quick. I am sporting the camisa from Aguas Caliente. This is a Lobo. This is a, what is a Lobo? Is a wolf in it, right? That's a wolf, right?
Lobos.
Wolf, right? There's go Lobos. I only knew that because of New Mexico State Lobos, right? That's the only reason you really knew that, right? But my shirt from Aguas, I bought it at the Remate there, and so I had to sport. You guys like it?
How many pesos?
I don't know, man, because homeboy spoke good English, and he said, just give me dollars. It's basically like an $8 shirt. So not bad, huh? Not bad. It already started fraying. Had to, cut a little bit away. But, hey, we talk about culture and its influence on the church, guys. We're just going to get right into it. We're going to get right into it. I was thinking about something, and we're going to talk about the local segment today. And I felt a little bewitched here. I felt a little hoodwinked. You ever notice how titles just try to grab you? And so it'll be clickbait. I think that's the word, clickbait. You guys ever got caught up on some clickbait?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Hold on. What was that? Hold on. Yeah. What was that grin for? I got caught up on that one.
No, I just agree.
Something you say here?
No, I agree.
Okay. Clickbait.
I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on.
Every guy here got quiet. So, Deshawn, you sent us, or you texted me. I don't know what you did, but you said these are the top 5 elementary schools in the Fresno area according to the new ranking system. So I'm not going to lie to you. I see Fresno, and I'm like, oh, these are the top 5 Fresno schools. And lo and behold, not one school is in Fresno Unified. Are you guys shocked?
No.
So you got Liberty, is it Fugman or Fugman? Fugman? I thought they were changing that name. I thought we went all woke and we couldn't have Fugman. We had to change that name.
Who's Fugman?
I don't know who Fugman is, but I remember reading something about Fugman got into some trouble.
It's Clovis Unified.
Oh, Clovis Unified. Okay.
Yeah, they don't care about that.
Oh, they don't care. Okay. Garfield, Valley Oak, and then I think it was Dry Creek. So all those schools, I think, technically are in Fresno area.
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know where not one of those schools is at.
You don't know where any of those schools? Your kid goes to one of those schools, right?
My kid goes.
Let's go!
And I didn't know when I attended the other one that's on that list.
Which one did you attend? You went
Valley Oak.
Oh, Valley Oak. Okay, Valley
Is that a private school?
I got two of them in there. No,
it's not.
It's Clovis Unified public school.
Why are you smiling? Not one Fresno school.
No, Bill's real white.
Let's go.
What is Mike then?
I don't know.
What is Mike? Mike, you off-white. You ain't real white, you off-white.
I'm still in the paint store, though.
I'm still in the paint store. So, does anybody else feel misled? Does anybody else feel misled by this? Fresno area.
Yeah, I think it was it the B or somebody.
Yeah,
put it out
I think
there
it was Fresno B.
And so they made it seem like it was, top 5 Fresno elementary schools. I looked at all the comments. Everybody said these are all in Clovis Unified.
What?
All the comments were that.
I mean, they're technically right. I mean, it's a Fresno area.
Oh yeah. It's Fresno County. Everyone outside of our area sees all of this as Fresno. They're not like, oh, Fresno Clovis. They're like, no, this is Fresno.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to throw it out there. Maybe spend a little less on Cesar Chavez Boulevard and put it into your schools. Maybe.
Yeah, that worked.
I mean, you didn't list one Fresno school. I wonder which Fresno school is doing well and comparatively speaking to these Clovis schools that literally went 1 through 5. Bam, 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 like that. But I ask again, is anybody surprised that not one Fresno school made it?
I'd like to see top 20.
And see where
Fresno Unified Schools jumps in. Do
they
jump in at 10?
This is so sad. I think this is the second or third largest school district.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because we're too busy about drag shows and pronouns. That's why. Because we're too worried about, do we have the right clubs on campus? How about you just teach freaking math? Is that too much to ask for these days? Reading, writing, and arithmetic. No, you're too busy worried about what pronoun Bobby wants to be called or whether Bobby's transitioning at 7. Bobby don't know what's going on, apparently can't read, but you worried about if we get him on hormone pills. Am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong. I think I'm right. I think that was a good little
they're focusing
rant
on
right
certain
there.
things, yeah. So, from my experience, the good schools in the Fresno Unified District are like the charter schools. They have specialty kind of.
I wouldn't doubt
schools.
that.
And so, but the actual public ones where they have for the neighborhoods, those are the ones that.
You know why? Because we have activist teachers. We didn't ask you to be an activist. We just asked you to teach the class. I'm telling you, it's all going to pots. I'm telling you, it's just. I wouldn't be surprised if more charter schools just don't explode, where they actually just teach you school. They teach you what you need to learn. I mean, we're seeing this all the time. You're more worried about what clubs you got on campus than whether or not your students can read.
I don't know. I think there's more to it than that.
I'm all ears.
Well, if you look at the demographics of the 5 schools that you just listed compared to the demographics of the Fresno Unified Elementary Schools, I guarantee they don't match up.
We'll say the bottom 5 compared to the top 5. So talk to me. I'm listening.
No, I'm just saying if you look at I think success in schools, especially in elementary schools, comes from being in the home. Like the involvement of parents in the home, there is a direct correlation between that and academic performance.
Okay.
And so if you look at the demographics of the 5 schools that are just listed, the Clovis Unified Schools.
So Liberty, Fugman, Garfield, Valley Oak, and Dry Creek.
Right. And you compare those and the academic engagement that parents have in those schools compared to the Fresno Unified Schools, I think there's just a little bit more to look at than saying like the clubs and things like that. I definitely do agree that there has been a bigger push, especially in the older middle school, high schools, when it comes to LGBT clubs and these different things that are not like centered around academic performance. But when it comes to elementary schools, I think that there's more to it when it comes to parent engagement and the effects that has in the class.
You were going to say something?
No. but I was trying to find out actually from that website if they ranked it. They had a bunch of rankings on there.
Okay.
But I couldn't find out comparing Clovis and Fresno. They might have it on there.
So do you agree with what Mike's saying?
But they said Manchester Gate is the best elementary school in Fresno. They had it ranked number 1 at least.
Okay. So do you agree with what Mike was saying? It starts in the home?
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. It's all about the parents. I mean, how much they're involved and how much they care about how you do in school. I don't care where you go to school.
So what's the difference between parents at
The
Clovis
parents.
Unified and Fresno Unified? What they?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Like, what is it? What's the difference?
If I had to quantify that, I would only say that that's half the problem is the parents. I
They-
wouldn't give it no more than half.
They care about how their kids do. They care if their kids can read. They care if their kids can write. If
They're
you
more
don't-
involved in their
Yeah.
kids. Okay, so what are the factors for that though?
Just care.
What's that?
You care. You care if they're able to do those things. If you don't care when they come home from school, you don't care if they just veg out on TV or go do whatever. You don't care what they do in school. Then obviously they probably won't do well. Most kids aren't looking to do well in school. Like, I want to do great in school. Some kids are, but some kids need parents that will push them and care how they do.
Sure.
Okay, I still would only give that half to you. I think the other half is the teachers. If you look at your best teachers, they're not signing up to go work in the hood.
Yeah, that's true. I think one of the factors where they graded these top 5 schools was teacher pay. I think I heard something with the teachers.
Okay, so what I'm basically saying, if you're gonna make $42,000 a year, you're gonna go make it at Liberty, where it's the top school, or are you gonna go over to the worst school in Fresno? Where are you going?
And I think that has to do with unified policies too. The Clovis Unified versus Fresno Unified.
That's what I'm
policies
saying.
for
Are you
teachers
attracting the best
different.
teachers?
You're not always going to. I mean, I'd say that there's not teachers who want to go to those areas.
And
And
then-
teachers who don't care.
And then the other thing is, are you taking the teachers that are getting spit out of the system right now that are more activists than anything else? I mean, I'm telling you, listen. I'm with y'all. I feel y'all. I'm with you on it does start in the home. I get that. I'm not even pushing back on that. But I'm also not going to give it a percentage that it is not just in. I'm not going to be like that's 75% of the problem. That's literally probably just half the problem. Because there are plenty of kids whose parents did not care that ended up doing real well.
Yes, I agree with that. That you can't argue that.
But I'm saying it's top down. Attitude reflect leadership. It's top down. It is top down. They fight. Is it me or is Fresno Unified fighting every other year for money? Whether it's the administration side getting fat bonuses, or it's the teacher side saying we don't make enough. Every other year, I feel like someone's striking or someone's doing something. Yeah. We all mad about something.
Well, one of the biggest things we don't talk. So the two, there's no doubt there's a difference between Clovis Unified and Fresno Unified, right? Which one's ranked higher than the other?
It's got the second largest union in California. It's the school union.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. One is unionized, one is not. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the teachers.
I mean, you got teachers can't even lose their job, and they ain't teaching worth nothing. I'm just saying, I think holistically, I'm just saying, I'm not surprised. Right? I do agree it's an amalgamation of parenting. It's a better, community environment type thing. I agree. I'm not saying that. I do agree with that, but I just don't know that I'd give it more than 50% of that equation. I think the other 50% is it's just jacked up over there. I mean, you can't even get the kids to school on time with the bus system.
If you want your kids to do well in school, if the parents want their kids to do well in school, I don't care where they go to school. They're going to do well in school if the parents are paying attention.
Yeah, I'd give you that as a rule of thumb, not an exact science. I'd give you that as a typical rule of thumb. I could get on. You need to read the book by Malcolm Gladwell, David and Goliath.
But either way, so you're going to either take your kid out of that class, you're going to find a different teacher at that school. If a parent cares about their kid doing well in school, they're going to do well in school.
I would still say that's a rule of thumb. It's not an absolute. Because your kid could have a learning disability. Your kid could get caught up.
Yeah, so you talked about this yesterday, according to the level.
Yes.
I'm saying
to the potential. Correct.
I know my son he can do well in school, but I know I have to push him. I'm not going to homeschool my daughter to the same standard. I'm not sure yet. She might do well. She might do it.
I agree with you.
I'm not going to treat him equally. The only reason he's not going to do well in school is because he's lazy. That is the only reason. He can go. I know he can go and get straight A's. He's proven so far that he can do really well in school. The only problem is him being lazy. My daughter will see. I'm not going to treat her the same.
So are we discussing who he inherited the lazy gene from on this episode, or are we just going to move along?
No, he just wants to do his own thing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. If the parents are engaged, then the kids will do well.
According to our ability.
According to that's what I just want to make sure we preface. I do agree with that. Were you going to chime in on something on that, or? Like I said, I just think it's 50%. I think we have some systemic issues in the school system.
I agree. That's only I was only pushing back on that.
Okay.
I was just saying that I think there's more layers than
there is.
Just
it's layered. It's layered.
Because this is one of the things that I get upset about is that so the school really wants my money, aka my kids to attend school. That's all. So whenever your kid's not attending, they
don't get that paper.
They're not really calling and saying, "Hey, where's Johnny at?" Because we really care he's there. We're like, "Hey, we're not getting paid today because Johnny's not there." So, but on the same token, when a teacher's out and they bring in a sub,
bro,
oh my gosh. A, the sub may or may not know how to tie their own shoes. B, the sub is not going to give them anything to do that day except for like a packet or something like that.
Yo, be real. When it was substitute day, you know what you was thinking? Oh, we watching a movie?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, okay. Bro. I love substitute days. Yeah.
And so Fresno Unified is really big on like your child attending school, but they still give teachers X amount of days to be off. And when the teachers are off, not that they shouldn't have days off. I'm just saying when they are off, it's not like, oh, the kids are getting the same, learning that day. They're not.
Let me push back on that. But there are some teachers, right? Because they love what they do. They love their students. They have a real good approach to what they're doing. They will make sure they get the substitutes that will continue going. Maybe not to the same skill set and standard, but to make sure that the kids are still learning while they're absent. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I say it's a combination of both. Because then you have, here's my thing. If you get an all-star teacher, screw your pay scale, pay them what they're worth. Don't be making it, well, you got to have X amount of classes you got to do this. No, if they're producing, that's why capitalism works. That's why the marketplace works. That's why other places work, because you pay people what they're worth. If you got an all-star teacher, take care of them. Pay them their money. Pay them what they're worth. If not, they're going to move on for the most part. They're out. They're going to move on. They're not going to want to put up with it.
Are you saying teachers aren't paid what they're worth?
I don't think certain teachers are paid what they're worth, and I think some are overpaid.
100%. There are certain teachers. I'll tell you right now, I have 3 kids in a Fresno Unified school. Out of all my kids, I've only had one bad experience with a teacher at this specific school. This school was amazing.
Right.
And it's anyway. But I will say the teachers that my kids have had are underpaid. I've also worked in Fresno Unified in the past. I almost worked a decade in Fresno Unified, and I can tell you the majority of teachers I encountered way overpaid. And not even overpaid. Way overpaid.
Yeah, feel me. I ain't saying, and I ain't drawing no delineation between Fresno Unified, Clovis Unified. My kids went through all Clovis Unified, and there were some teachers they weren't worth the salt. They was just poor teachers. I ain't got no love, no respect for them. They was just getting paid mad money because they were tenured, but you could tell they had checked out a long time ago. You working 8 months out of the year getting paid for 12. Trust me. And there's other teachers that, man, they love what they did, above and beyond, engaged, cared. Mm-hmm. They were underpaid. That's all I'm saying. If you got all-stars, pay them. Pay them the money.
How do we get performance-based pay for teachers?
You can't.
You can.
Not
with union.
No. Oh, you right. Yeah, you ain't getting into Fresno.
Too much
Yo,
hours.
but it starts top down. What's the district superintendent making? What's homeboy making? Who is that guy now? Is it Hanson still?
Bob Nelson?
No,
Is that
Is it Nelson?
Bob Nelson.
I can't keep up. I mean, it all sounds the same anyway. But what's he making, like $300 a year? Bro, you live in Fresno. You almost make it as much as Jerry Dyer. Okay, that was a little push. You know Jerry make it twice that. But the point is, like, you living good at 300. How would you be living at 300? We be golfing, Bill. You get me golf lessons with me because I
If
suck.
I was making 300, my kids would be going to Fugman.
Yes.
No, you mean Liberty. Liberty number one.
Oh, Liberty.
You going to Liberty, boy, with justice for all, right? Liberty. Where your kids going? You make it $300 a year.
Same school. I spend money on them.
You lying. You lying. You know you're not living where you live and you make it $300 a year.
No, my kids go to a great school.
No, I'm saying you know you're not living where you live and you make it $300 a year.
I'll live in the same area, just maybe a mile of difference.
You said I got my property.
I'm moving.
I'm moving. I'm not gonna lie. You moving? I'm moving.
I'm moving a mile up the street.
Hey,
I live real close where I want to live.
I'm gonna find out where Nathan Magzik lives. I'm gonna live out. I'm gonna live out there because that Fresno area is good. That's a good area.
Hey,
of
you
town.
can go jogging in your neighborhood. Ain't nobody chasing you, boy. It's good. Hey, I make $300 a year. I'm calm, bro. I'm living like off old Van Ness or something. I'm gonna join me like a country club. Oh yeah, I'm living a good life, bro. I'm gonna have his and hers cars.
I love Old Sunnyside.
It's gonna take more than that.
Hey, it's Not Offended podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We talk about culture's influence in the church. Hey, I've got to talk to you about something. But before I do, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this. Find us on iTunes, Spotify, and of course YouTube. Guys, I read something, and we're just gonna spend a minute talking about it. I almost couldn't believe. I thought it was a Babylon Bee headline, but did you read about the Dalai Lama? Did anybody? I know you thought it was clickbait because the Dalai Lama told that kid to suck his tongue, but that was real. The Dalai Lama.
Can you tell me what the Dalai Lama?
I have no idea. Do
what's
you know
he
what the
do?
Dalai Lama is?
No. I meant to look it up, but I didn't look it up.
Mike, you got any idea what the Dalai Lama? Is that that's not Hinduism? Is it Buddhism?
I think it's
Buddhist.
Buddhist.
I think he's the head, like their head.
Yeah, he like the dude. He like the spokesperson.
He's like
he
the Pope.
Like their Pope.
Hey.
Yeah, there you go. He like the Pope, bro. Kissed the boy and then stuck out his tongue and said, "Suck my tongue." First thought.
Oh, he's a pedophile.
Oh, for sure, bro. Bro?
Where's the dad at?
They laughed.
Oh.
Go watch that video. Everybody was kind of laughing, and then
Dad
they
should
made
have beat the
excuses.
crap out of Dalai Lama.
I don't think.
You should have knocked the Dalai Lama out right there. And he might have got killed, but stomped out.
He wrong.
He should have got stomped out right there on the spot.
There's your headline: Dalai Lama gets jumped.
Yep. It's your son.
Deshawn, bro, you can't do that to the Dalai Lama.
Oh yeah, you
Are
can.
you kidding me? Hey, number
as
one
a
thing,
father,
yeah, the number one thing I gotta do, like, I mean,
Hey, nobody's off limits.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm not a violent person whatsoever. I'm not trying to act like I'm hard. But you go after my kid, like I'm down.
Yeah, it was like I think they said like a 10-year-old boy, was it? Something like that?
He looked maybe a little bit younger.
I thought between 8 and 10.
So, Mike, you saying that's not the first time this has happened?
Oh, I don't know.
If he's willing to do that in
public like that?
On video, everybody filming on the mic. He said, "Suck my tongue." Bro, like real talk, like did anybody else have a first reaction other than that's a little
That's
pedophile-ish?
disgusting. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's so disturbing. Like I wouldn't want to watch that again. Like that's how disgusting it is.
Yeah, I just watched it one time because at first I thought it was a Babylon Bee type of headline, like, you know, satire. And I watched it, I go, oh snap. That was a satire. And the dude had that grin on his face. I was like, I can't watch that again. Like, that was like, bro, what's the world? This is their top religious guy.
So what happens to him? Nothing?
They laugh it off.
They probably
laughed
treat him
it
like
off.
a god. They most likely treat him like a god and like
They
whatever.
laughed it off. Are we living in some strange times?
I mean, it's probably always been going on. When you follow a false god, you just do whatever stupid stuff you want to do. Sacrifice kids, abuse kids. This is what it all leads to. All these false and fake religions.
But are we living in some interesting times? I mean,
They're just
man,
getting exposed.
y'all,
That's it. Video.
Just getting exposed.
Yeah.
Yep. He's probably been doing this for years. Just finally got caught on video.
well, I'll tell you this. Y'all leave a comment in the comment box, but I'm telling you right now, check that out. This is crazy.
Yeah,
Listen,
I'm with Deshawn. For him to be that comfortable to do it in public like that,
Yeah.
there's some stuff behind there.
yo, man, this is interesting. I'm just saying, this is their top spiritual guy. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but by the way, who can I ask you a question? And can we just keep it 100? Who says "suck my tongue"? Like, do you think that was a translation, or do you think that's he said it in English? Or I'm just saying, I've never even heard that. Like, am I losing my marbles over here, or is that common now? Is that what people saying now?
No.
Okay,
I'm looking at you. I don't know.
so we're all equally as lost. Like, no one even talks like that.
I'm old. You know, ask one of the young dudes. I don't know.
Oh, no, they shaking their head
What y'all
over
be
here.
saying? What y'all
Yeah,
be
no,
saying?
we don't. That's not a common phrase. That's not vernacular.
The-
Okay, so all right. Well, okay. Let's move along. 'Cause we don't. That is not going on a shirt. Let's say that. Okay. So let's get to our woke segment. We got to get to our woke segment, right? So we talked a little bit local, a little bit global. We got to get to our woke segment. It's somewhat local, but it is global. I came across an article. Calvary Chapel in San Jose lost its first round of a lawsuit in which the city sued them, and they have to pay $1.2 million in COVID-19 violations and fines. And a lot has to do with wearing masks. The judge said, you at least could have just encouraged people to wear a mask during your services. Yo, we just pulled an article, the most extensive article done worldwide, and it said masks were completely ineffective. They did not work. And yet this judge says you could at least worn a mask to show some type of compliance. $1.2 million. We in trouble. We in trouble. If this verdict stands, next time there's another edict, you will have to capitulate. You will have to follow it. This is a huge deal, guys. This is big.
Yeah, that's a kiss the ring.
This kiss the ring.
Yeah. It doesn't matter whether or not it worked or it didn't work. When
Just
it comes
do what
to
I
masks,
say.
You didn't do what he told you to do. So we're fine.
It doesn't matter that science proves otherwise. I am a female. I am a white woman. Back off me. You guys didn't buy that. You guys didn't buy that at all. What would you give me for a white woman name? What would be my white woman name? Does somebody want to give me a white woman name?
Oh, dude, it's not good.
Yeah, come on, give me a white woman name. I want a white woman name.
We gotta stay away.
Amber.
Amber? I'm an Amber? Oh, bro, come on.
I don't know.
Come on. What you gonna give me?
I don't know what's going on. What are we talking about here?
Bro, this is Pandora's box. I mean, I know we're making tongue in cheek, but this is coming to a church near you. You will hire that gay person. That's the least thing you could have done. You will hire that transgender person for your children's ministry. It's the least you could have done.
Many churches are doing it already, so they'll be all right. Mike Todd should be all right. I'm just messing. He ain't go that far. I don't know why
He's
I said
getting
that.
ahead of the curve here.
He's getting ahead of the
sure he's got that basis covered.
He hasn't done that yet.
Oh, he's on his way. He said Transformation Church does have trans in it.
He did say that.
He said that.
Yeah.
Is there something you want to say?
No, I don't know why I said it.
Is there
It
something?
just came to mind.
No. It's from the abundance of the heart. The mouth speaketh, Deshawn. Tell us how you really feel about Mike Todd again.
I don't know. Was it?
Tell us how you really feel. You did say he wore a nice suit.
It did. It was a nice suit.
That was a
Easter
nice suit?
Yep. The rest of
Okay.
Easter was crap for him. The suit was nice.
The suit was on point.
Is this a bad sign? I think this is a bad sign.
I think if I remember correctly, they had said that they were going to hold this church accountable,
They did.
right?
They did.
And so this is 3 years after COVID. The church, I think, already had won another case because they were meeting indoors. They got fined for meeting indoors.
They did. That's because
so-
the Supreme Court held the
And
judgment.
the Supreme Court came and ruled
Right.
in their favor. And then I
Right.
think the city came back around and said,
Sued him for the mask policy
for
because
the
they didn't get
mask
rid of
policy
that.
now.
Correct.
And so they have now lost because now they're saying they weren't wearing masks. And so I think the judge or the other attorney said that we're just going to hold this church accountable for what they did by not following the rules, I guess. And so I don't see it. I would say, Pastor, 3 years ago, I would have thought what you said now, that they're going to require you to jump through hoops as a church, that you were off base a little bit. But to see it now where we are just in 3 short years of how far things have advanced, I don't see that that's too far off of what you're saying, that they're going to require churches to do A, B, C, and D here within the next 3 years.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this should be a wake-up call. Pastors should be outraged over this. Like, what are you doing? This, to me, do you guys know the story of the canary in the gold mines? Do you guys understand that, the canary in the gold mines? In the coal mines? You understand? Like, this is the canary. Like, 3 years ago when I was, 3 years ago when I was telling everybody, you need to open your church. Okay, I get it, you scared. You still need to open up your church. When did being scared stop the people in China from meeting? When did being scared stop the people in Iraq from meeting? When did being scared, stop Jesus from praying and going to a cross? I don't care if you're scared. Find your courage. I know it didn't come with your fancy degree from seminary, but you need to either go find some courage or go borrow some courage. This should make you outraged. That they're paying a $1.2 million fine for a freaking mask? Are you kidding me? What's next? This, once again, is how far can we push it? How much can we get away with? What can we do? The church needs to wake up. It's coming to a church near you. I'm telling you.
Here's why. You may not think that this affects, as a church, does not affect you because it's not in your area or anything like that. But I know with rulings, learning a little bit more about that, there's case law that now happens.
Sets precedents.
Sets precedents where other cities can now use this case to win, certain rulings against other churches. And so what does this open up? I think that's what that's what you're going to.
I'm telling you, this is a precedent.
Yeah, because people say, well, masks are over, so it doesn't really matter. But they're just going to fill that blank in with something different.
What do you think they're going to fill it in with? What's coming?
Oh, definitely some type of trans, LBGTQHI, JK, LMNOP, I don't know, whatever they're going to say. They're going to say something like, when it comes to your nonprofit status as a church, that you need to make sure that your hiring is inclusive to anybody.
And it's equitable.
Yes, and you need to make sure that you have somebody who fits every single one of these categories on your staff.
Okay, by the way, equitable. Can I just ask you a question? I've been wanting to ask this since we're down this line a little bit of equitable, right? So what if you were an all-black church? Would equitable mean you have to hire at least 2 white pastors?
Sean? Are you gonna
Have you thought about that? I thought about that the other day.
No.
You not gonna hire me?
No, because Black Lives Matter.
Deshawn straight told everybody on the Not Offended podcast, I ain't hiring Mike. He is not getting the job for me. He can't at least be the janitor.
This is not affirmative action?
Yeah, I mean, what is this? Does it kick in the other way?
It doesn't kick in the other way.
Oh, man. But you see what I'm saying?
You can have an all-black college, but not an all-white college.
Oh, that's a good point.
That'd be racist.
That,
You can have an all-black dorm, but you can't have an all-white.
that's a good point. You know what? It's precedence. And I just wonder if it works the other way. I mean, I'm telling you, Bill's 100% right. This sets a case law in which other people go back and they cite. This is why these things are so important. And I think we're getting to a time where what you said was right. What's next? They're going to say you have to do this or you have to do that. Because you know what? You got that little nonprofit status. Yeah. They're always trying to go after the church's nonprofit status. But why don't they go after other people's nonprofit statuses? Right?
Yeah.
Because why? Because everybody bows the knee to the woke agenda. And the church is the last. We're the vanguards. We're the last of it. You know, we're supposed to be the ones pushing back on this culture saying, no, we got to keep a gospel. And we're falling one by one. We're falling one by one to the woke crowd. And I think we're a dying breed of just people saying, no, we do not capitulate. We do not give into that. And by the way, your silence is bowing down. When you don't speak up, you're bowing down. And we better find the courage. The Elijahs better rise up, and you know what? And stop kissing rings and doing men's breakfasts. Okay. So, which brings me to just moving right along the Not Offended podcast. We're going back in on it. I'm gonna make a bold announcement right here. Mike, my breakup's coming. Mike, my breakup is coming. My breakup is coming.
Here it is.
I can no longer defend Mike Todd.
Ooh.
And I like him. I mean, I would definitely go to dinner with him, hang out with him. But him...
You gonna hang out with Mike Todd?
What was that?
You gonna hang out with Mike Todd and
I like
Carlet's?
No, we wouldn't let you do that.
See, you did too much right there.
Wait.
That's doing too much.
Why? Wait, what?
No.
How's that too much?
No, I hang out with Mike Todd.
You just prefaced this with, this is my breakup, but then you said, we're going to still text each other.
Side chick? Yeah. Why you guys give me a hard time?
Because you said you were going to hang out with him.
Did I say it like that?
Kind of.
Or that you would hang out
with him. I would hang out with him. Yeah, well,
I can't listen to that guy speak for like 10 seconds.
Well, here's my problem. My problem is he needs to go back and clean up his comments, especially when it comes to. So I've had some time to chew on this, and I'm really, 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 really concerned with this. Why didn't God do it this way? Mike Todd, I love you as a man of God. I believe you're trying, but I believe you fumbled. I believe this was a pick six. You literally took the place of God and told God how he should have done creation. Now, if that's not what you meant, dog, you got to go clean that up. Because right now you left it out there and it don't look good. You look very uneducated. You don't look like you understand doctrine. You don't understand theology. You haven't read your Bible. God knew what he was doing. I got a news flash for all you people who don't get it yet. If God wanted it a different way, guess what? It'd be a different way. Bottom line, he knew what he was doing. He knew. That's why those people, they talk about, you got all these detransitioners coming out now. Every day you turn around, there's more and more. I'm telling you, it's coming. Floodgates is open now. They will tell you, I can't stay the way I am if I don't stay on hormones. Because you're going against anatomically how God created you. So Mike Todd, there is no C and D. It's not what the freak either. It's read your freaking Bible and understand it. I can't defend you no more. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Okay, there's my breakup. How'd I do? I ain't texting him still. We DMing each other, all right? We just want to see if he's changed a little bit. That's all. Gosh, that's my best breakup.
Well, I wouldn't say you did like the whole, like, it's not you, it's me. So that was good. I mean, you didn't break up that way.
I didn't? Okay, good. That makes me feel better.
I have a question. So when somebody goes as far, like, crazy as he's been going crazy, and then he's had other pastors kind of sign off on him in the past, at what point do they need to come and say, hey, like...
Now. And if he ain't turning privately, you got to do it publicly. You got to do it publicly. One of his mentors is all about upset the gram. You know what I mean? It's all about this stuff.
About the what?
One of his podcasts called like Upset the Gram. One of his mentors. And I'm like, bro, no, instead of upsetting the gram, you need to go correct his Instagram. Like, skip all that. You're supposed to be this person who's confronting culture and all this. You need to confront your boy. I mean, that play, listen, I ain't got no problem with plays that you're trying to reach lost people. You don't do it on Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday is about the resurrection of Christ. It's about preaching the gospel, period, point blank, no place. If you want to do that on Friday or Saturday, I think nobody would have had a problem with it. But the problem I had in that part in the play is you got them 3 women in leather pants talking about their booties. We're already guys. You don't need to be bringing no attention to no booty up on stage and no leather pants talking about whether you had a booty or not a booty. That's a booty trap. You know what I'm saying? That was a good one.
Yes,
That was a good one. All right. They won't high five me on that, but that was a good one. I think of these ones all on my own. But you don't bring attention. Why are you going to be in church? You're going to bring attention to some. No, remember, that's misogynistic. That's demeaning women. That's devaluing women. And yet you write that into your play? See, that's what I'm saying. We got to really think through these things. I can't defend them no more. I pray for him. I pray that there's, I pray his mentors are speaking in his life, but they got to call him out. If they call him out privately, then he needs to come out publicly like he did when he spit in his brother's face. I did too much. I shouldn't have did all that. You need to do it now, Mike. You need to do it now because people are questioning your theology. Because your theology right now is suspect. Am I wrong? Because I know how you feel. Am I wrong? You think I'm wrong about this?
No, you're right.
What would you say to him?
Nothing. He's a YouTuber.
Oh, here we go.
He's
still your brother in Christ. You still got to appeal to your brother in Christ.
No, people just stop following him. Maybe he'll wake up. Stop going to my top shows. Stop tithing to his church. Stop watching this stuff.
Well, I'm sure that would work. But what were you gonna? So you had the other question?
Yeah, no, I was surprised with at least one of the pastors that I know who have really promoted him in the past is more of what would come across as conservative pastor.
Can I just throw something out there to you real quick? Because I had a conversation with my boy. Shout out Chase Wiggins, Vibe Church San Jose. We were talking about this, and we were talking about that same mentor. Can I ask you guys an honest question? And I'm being me and him. We actually didn't have an answer. We just had more questions. If that pastor really was to call him out, I don't know that he wouldn't be safe from the ridicule of that being a racist comment. Any type of call out he did against him.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying I don't know. I don't know if he wants that smoke. I just don't know.
Well, I think you first go to him privately. I think that's what you're saying, right, Mike?
Yeah, but at what point does that start to come back on you?
I think it's coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm waiting, kind of like, hey, man, you've kind of portrayed yourself to be this certain way. Where are you at? Where do you stand on this? Because you spoke at his church like not too long ago.
You're 100%. Listen, you guys know me. I don't duck nothing. I don't dodge nothing. You're 100% right. What I'm saying is there's got to be some, listen. I went back for all these people. Did you listen to it its entirety, context? Everybody always, when you're in trouble, people always want to say context. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, context. Yeah, the more I listened to and the more context I got, the worse it sounded. Like, it just got worse and worse and worse. It's like you ever had that friend like, bro, you need to shut up now. Like, just don't say another word. And he just keeps talking like, see, that's why you're in trouble. That was that sermon. You should have quit at your intro and just walked off stage and had more worship. But we're seeing it. We're seeing it with Maverick City people. We're seeing it with other pastors that we saw in Texas. They're coming out and they're affirming all this. And they're challenging God on why didn't God make other options? Because God is God and you are not. That's bad theology. You are borderline heresy right now.
Yeah, why didn't God create us with wings? Our legs wouldn't get tired. We'd just be flying everywhere.
Well, we keep going down the what ifs. Like, you got guys that they're going, what if we just live by the Old Testament still? I can get me a wife and some concubines. I can be a polygamist. Right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. When we take the spot of God, then that's when we get in trouble. And that's what we got to be real cautious of. So let's move on, because this, I don't want to say it goes out of the frying pan into the lake of fire. It gets worse. But then over the weekend, we get a scandal that breaks with Hillsong. And somebody leaks a document they labeled it a pay-to-play scheme, where they ousted all these big-name preachers and how they had a circuit and how they were making all this money preaching on this circuit. I'm talking a lot of paper here, 50,000, 75,000, 30,000. You guys, we read this. Any thoughts on that? I mean, like, this doesn't look good. We're going from one bad thing to the next. I feel like the church in America, like, we're in shambles a little bit. We're backpedaling. Like, we got some issues here.
Let's take this one. Can you give us so when you go, I guess the circle was going on was that you would have an agreement between you and other pastors that they would speak.
It was in the Hillsong
churches,
Network, right?
and you get paid tens of thousands of dollars for coming to preach.
So in this Hillsong Network, they were saying like, hey, if I go preach at your church, you'll give me at least 10 grand, up to 25, up to 50,000, plus take care of all my expenses, fly me out and everything else, and allow me to sell merch. So some of these guys were walking away with the, $60,000 weekend split
For themselves personally.
for themselves personally. And that don't sit right. I don't know. Is it because I'm the pastor on this panel and it shouldn't sit right, or is that not sit right?
I mean, who does it sit right with?
Well, apparently them. It sat real good.
Right.
They sat first class. You know what I'm saying? There was Jack Harlow up in this book, first class.
But like, I think for the majority of people, they would say the same thing. Like, hey, that's just much. I don't know.
Well, I think that's why it's the whistleblower. The whistleblower is saying, listen, this was a lavish lifestyle. Do you have a problem with God? Do you have a problem with God's pastors making money? And how much money is too much? Or do we not want to judge that?
I said the biggest problem I'm having right now with this is this in general, just having other pastors, big name pastors, come preach to church. For what reason? Like, what's the purpose? Is it so you can just have this name that everyone watches on YouTube or, whatever, however they get them? And it's like, oh, yeah, I get to see them in person. Like, how does that build up your church? Why does that matter? Does that bring more believers to your church? Does it edify your church? Like, what's the purpose of them coming to your church and spending all this money? Who does it help? Why do it?
Good question. Okay.
Because, I mean, I know I'm different and unique. Like, I don't care. I don't care if we have Brian Houston.
You would care if we had John MacArthur. Don't lie.
I would like him, but I still could just watch him online. Doesn't make a difference.
And you would care if we had Tony Evans. Don't lie.
I would have had Tony Evans.
But I don't. Okay, I hear what you're saying. I agree.
But how does that build up? But is it worth? But I tell you this, I wouldn't want to spend $50,000 to have him here.
No. Okay. No. That's my point. That's my point right there. That's my point. These I'm gonna push back a little bit. Having some of these big name people come in, they do add a certain value.
To who? Unbelievers aren't coming because Tony Evans is coming. They don't give a rip. I'm still getting drunk. Other people from other church might come.
No, you're right.
But they're still believers.
They add a value to your body, to what you're building up here, to the body of Christ here. There's a value there. So I don't want to minimize that. Okay, I don't want to devalue that. I hear what you're saying though. I hear what you're saying. If it's $50,000 and we get Tony Evans, then he's not adding a value. He's not adding $50,000 worth of value. When we give that same $50,000, go buy a field in Mexico and start on some engineering plans to build a shelter.
Yeah, and you might take that $50,000 and be able to help whatever. Say maybe it's like 50 families there.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem like a big glorious thing that you're going to put on your social media. That's saying what's going to blow up, but that's 50 families you get to help. If it's $50,000, that hey, maybe we had a good Sunday.
No, exactly. I agree.
To a bunch of believers.
However, I'm gonna just push back a little bit. Tony Evans coming here and spending a Sunday with us and having an afternoon maybe with our pastoral staff, you're gonna get blessed. And I believe a worker is worthy of his wage. I just think there has to be a cap there. $50,000, $75,000. This is a little too rich. That's a little too rich for my taste. I don't know. So I think the cap is subjective, like depending on where you're going at, what space, what place. But I just think that's a little too rich. Is that safe to say, or is it not too much money?
We talk about how a church brings in money, right? It's people's tithe and offerings.
It is.
And so you have people who are extremely wealthy and well-to-do, and they tithe and they give offerings. And you have people who are grinding, people who are single moms, people who are barely getting by.
Come on.
And so I think that at the end of the day, you have to be able to look at your congregation in the eye, whether it's be the single mom who's, giving what she's got, or the wealthy businessman and giving what he's got, and be able to look at both of them in the eye and justify what you spent. And so are you able to justify to these people that one of these dudes was worth $75,000
plus merch sales?
Yeah. Or are you saying, hey, we feel like this person added value, and so we gave them $10,000 because this is whatever your number is. But I just think that when we talk about, like, is it too rich, quote unquote, then I think it's hard to look at somebody in the eye and say, we gave this amount of money to this person and it was worth it. It was worth your tithe and offering.
Yeah, I know. I like what you said, Mike. To me, it's like I don't think it's the amount that bothers me. Okay. I think it's more the if they had a scheme or a plan behind the scenes, an agreement to go, hey, you're going to be part of these organizations, but you're going to have me preach at your church and you're going to pay me X amount. I think they have a problem there. They may even have a legal problem in that sense when it comes to nonprofits and things like that. If there's some type of agreement with this whistleblower comes out that they all had, that we're going to all get paid somehow personally, I think that's where I had more of the problem with that. Now, if somebody wants to come in and we want to bless them with X amount of dollars, however much that may be, I'm good for that.
But isn't that almost like, so that idea that they're talking about, I mean, that's in pretty much the majority of business.
Yeah,
in construction, you use the same guys to do X, Y, and Z, right? And then they use the same people over and over and over. And in education, you hire the friends that you hire the people that you're familiar with. I mean, in most business sectors, it kind of works like that. There is almost a scratch my back, I'll scratch your back.
Yeah, but then just come out
for the city of Fresno for sure.
Then just come out and say these are transactions, right? Like run your organization like a business versus a church. I think that's where I would say it's more circles. I see where you're going with that, but I'm in a network. I love my network. I truly believe your network is your net worth. I agree with that statement. I hear what you're saying, though. You don't like the fact that it was an established, thought-out plan on how to make more money by everybody scratching each other's back within the church. Sure. I think that's what you're saying. I do have a problem with the amount, though. I have a problem with that plan, but I also have a problem with that amount. I think there's a problem with this problem. I think as you get a bigger platform and you start selling books and you start doing all this, there reaches a point where you're just making a little too much from the church. And if you want to go make money, go do something else. You don't get in the ministry to make money. That's not gospel. You don't see it anywhere in the New Testament. Okay? And trust me, I know people, this has surprised me. People knock on me that Anthony's a word of faith preacher. He's a prosperity preacher. And they never listen to segments like this. They really don't know who I am. I do believe you're blessed to be a blessing, because I believe that's part of the covenant. However, you're not blessed to get rich to where you're living off every indulgence, sinful indulgence, or every indulgence that your heart's desires. What I'm saying is, I think you just need to have a little bit of wisdom here and say, listen, my book's already a bestseller. I'm already making money from the church. I need to just pick one lane. If I'm going to continue to write books and be a speaker, okay, let that be your lane. Stop taking money from the church. That's all. I'm getting real leery of all these worship bands going on tour, $100 tickets, $300 to get VIPs backstage so you can come meet us and we can give you 5 minutes of our time. Buy my $150 sweater. I'm getting a real leery. This is starting to feel a little, tax exchange, temple tax. This is starting to feel a little iffy here. Does that make sense? If you really want to invest in the next generation and you feel like you've got some tools, do a free seminar for every young worship leader that doesn't have the $150 to get backstage. Just say, show up. We're going to give you an hour of our time, right? Because they're going to go buy your $150 sweater that you got for $30. I'm just pick your lane. And by the way, I got no problem if a pastor wants to diversify. Hey, over here, I'm doing real estate over here with my own personal finances. My whole goal is to do so well on the side that I never take money from the church.
that I never receive a paycheck. That's my whole goal. That's what I want to do. Whether it's writing a book or making good, wise stock market decisions or real estate investments, I would love not to receive from the church. I'd love just to be a blessing. Right? That's just my goal. But I'm saying, I definitely got a problem with the little scheme here. I feel Ponzi scheme-ish right here. But I also got a problem with the pricing. And I know some people are, their time is worth money. I get all that. But those people are already making a lot of money. How much money do you really need to make off of speaking engagements? That's all I'm asking. How much? When is it a limit? Now, if you've got a charitable organization set up that you're blessing, listen, here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying we're doing too much. Compassion International, who literally went on all the Hillsong tours, because I got Compassion kids. That's where I got them from, the Hillsong. So I've been to several Hillsong United and Hillsong concerts or worship, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the concerts.
Okay. Here's the deal. I sponsor kids through that. It broke my heart that they had to pay $1 million to be a part of that.
That's what I was saying. I missed that.
Compassion, they paid $1 million to be sponsored?
To be a part of that. That broke my heart.
Dang.
Yeah.
And I understand, listen guys, I understand advertisement. I understand like Super Bowl ads because so many people tune in. I get all that. But you're helping kids. I just don't see that in the gospel. I don't see it. That million, bro, you could have built 1,000 wells in Africa.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
You could have helped out the orphanage problem in Cambodia. And I'm not dogging nobody. I'm not dogging nobody. I'm just saying, have we lost the heart of Jesus? Have we lost the heart of Jesus? Just doing too much. I mean, I already bought you a $35 shirt that didn't last but a year. I outgrew it, by the way. I put on a couple pounds. But I'm just saying, I bought it.
Right, because I think what somebody could say is, well, they paid $1 million to get in, but they got 7 out of it.
They probably did.
And so, if you look at it from that perspective, yeah, that's true. But
ROI, return of investment.
But then on the flip side of that is, if you are Hillsong, why would you make them pay $1 million, knowing that $1 million could have went somewhere else?
That's what I'm saying.
That's the kicker for me.
Yo, this is the Not Offended podcast talking about culture and its influence in the church. We're on a hot one right now talking about, when is too much. When it comes to the finances, where's the integrity in the church as far as, taking care of things. Please like, subscribe, hit, comment. We want to hear your feedback on this one. Share it with another pastor, but go ahead and make your voice be heard. But it's culture, man, influence. Listen, by the way, I want to preface something. I know that the church is comprised of people from all walks of life, and there are some people who have a lot of money. They're wealthy. And I've got no problem. I've seen it happen. I've been a part of certain things. I've seen it happen where you have a wealthy businessman who really appreciates this pastor, and he'll take off his $10,000 Tag Heuer watch and just give it to the pastor. Hey, I just want to bless you. I've got no problem with people being obedient to Jesus. Can you just hear me on that? Especially if this person has the means to do so. Like, what's 10 grand to a guy who's a multimillionaire? It's nothing. It's nothing. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the premeditative plan, right? And then the overexuberance of finances. Now, if a guy in the church wanted to just write a check for your ministry, I get it. That was his choice. I mean, am I drawing a good delineation there? Do you guys see what I'm trying to say there?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any pushback on that, or do we agree on that part? Like, if you got people in the church who got financial means, they just want to bless somebody. Who are you to say?
No, some dude came up to me and say, "Hey, I'm gonna lease you a Lexus, every year from now on." I'm like, "I'm gonna take it."
He didn't even blink, though. He didn't even blink. He just said, "Thank you. It's the blessing of the Lord. Blessing, highly favored, not flavored,
I'm
but
glad
favored."
we're hearing from the Lord. Praise God. Let's go.
What else are you hearing? What else did you hear?
He said, "Hey, I know this guy, another guy. He could use one too."
He ain't hiring you. He ain't looking out for you, bro.
Tell him it's like your brother or something.
No, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, there's people who have the means and they want to, hey, I want to bless my pastor or I want to bless the church in this way for this reason. I understand that. But I think the thing is this, it was like Was it truly a scheme? What was their heart behind this? Were they trying to fill their pockets? The church pays into this and I get some money back. Or were they really trying to bless the churches? Were they looking out for the churches for other people, or they're just looking out for themselves?
Right. What were you gonna say?
No, I think when the money starts coming in as much as they were receiving, you just have to have principles that you set before you get to that point, right? Standards and principles. That I think this is what you're saying, limit certain things, because once it comes in like that quickly, and I'm sure it came in really fast. And
Well, they say $350 million a year.
Yeah. And so
Wow.
if you didn't set those principles and standards before that money came, then it's very hard to not be tempted to reach into that. And I think that's maybe what happened, is that some money was coming in so fast that maybe some of the people say, hey, if I just take a little bit here and there, it's not that bad.
And then you get ousted. Everything is laid bare before the Lord. And I just think that, we're moving in a time where this is just me, okay? This how I want to give some closing thoughts. And then I want you guys to give your closing thoughts. I just think things are being exposed in this season. Whether it's heretical teachings, questionable theology, questionable practices, or even even questionable principles, I think the church is being exposed. Go ahead, Mike. Closing thoughts on that. I think the church is being exposed.
Yeah, I mean, you start to look at the past 3 years, starting with COVID, and then we went COVID, then we went all the BLM stuff. Then we're now moving into the trans, and now we're moving into money, and money's kind of always been a hot topic when it comes to churches in itself. And at the end of the day, it's like you've got to be able to look at your congregation in the eyes, but then you also got to be able to look at the Lord and be like, man, am I living a life that honors you? Mm-hmm. And so what they're doing with their money, I will say this. We've seen how, media portrays certain people.
Good point. Yep.
And so maybe this is a hit piece on them.
It's possible.
It is possible.
It's possible.
So we're just saying about what we're reading.
That's it. We're just commenting on what is being principles. We're just commenting on principles and practices. I agree.
Yeah. We don't know Hillsong personally. So anyway, but with that being said, it's like at the end of the day, we've got to be able to know that our time here is short. And so we've got to live it with honor and integrity.
Yeah. What you got, D? Closing thoughts from the bishop.
I talked to someone about this being giving. That's that we give because we're being obedient to God.
Yep.
Not to say that if you feel like the pastor or the church is spending money not wisely, then go to a different church. You need to keep giving though. I'm being obedient to you. And I think that's a principle that I just have. It's like I'm gonna give, and if I feel like something I think they're doing something crazy, I can bring it up maybe to them. Then they feel like, hey, it's none of your business. Like, and I still feel like it's going on. Then I'm gonna go to another church. And I'm gonna keep giving. Okay, that's what God commanded me to do. But I still think, and also just even the pastors just are hard. Like, why are we in ministry? Why are you doing this?
Yes.
Like, just like you need to keep that in front of you. Like, what's the purpose of this? Mm-hmm. That no one wants to be broke. No pastor necessarily wants to be broke.
Being broke don't make you more spiritual.
It doesn't. It doesn't make you. I mean, there's a bunch of broke people doing a bunch of crimes.
Yeah.
And so, but you have to remember, keep that in front of you through the struggle or through the good times. Either way, you have to keep that in front of you. Like, why am I doing this? What is the purpose? So that when the hard time, you remember, like, this is why I'm doing this. And when times are good, you're not just reaching like, oh man, I can live real good now. You keep that before you, in front of you, because like, no, I can give all this away.
Yeah,
I can go bless other people. So,
closing thoughts from my agent right here. Let's go.
This is obviously a pretty large church. So whether you're a small church, medium-sized church, or a large church, I think there's certain principles and standards that you should hold on to. It's easy to point the finger at this large church, but you see this sometimes in small churches too. And so as leaders, just always check, double check everything, make sure that, you're honoring the Lord with the resources, because there are people that are giving, that are counting on you to do the right thing with it. So,
yeah. So I want to talk to all the pastors out there, all the leaders, whether you're assistant pastor or a youth pastor, or you're just a leader in the church seeking ministry as possibly an employment. I want to tell you right now that God is most impressed with the sermon that's called your life. Not the sermon that's on the platform, but the sermon called your life and how you live your life. You got to be very careful because those bright lights are going to expose what you've been doing in the dark. And that platform is not there for you to get more followers. The platform is there for you to make disciples. And the only way for you to make a disciple is for you to open up the Word of God, know the Word of God, because that is a sword. A sword could be used for good, or a sword could be used for evil, to manipulate, to cut people, to get them to bend to your will instead of God's will. Know how to use your sword. It's very important. But I need you to hear my heart in this. God is watching you, and God is looking for true shepherds. He told David, I sought you, I found you. I'm the one that established your kingdom, David. Don't get it twisted. Don't ever let your head get too big. Remember this. Keep your heart big and your head small, and God will take you places. Don't seek to be on any type of platform. Seek to be in God's presence. This has been the Not A Fitted Podcast. I'm Anthony, and I'm out. Peace. See you next week.